Warning: if you might be offended by foul language or off-color jokes, now is the time to kindly fuck off.
Good agenda, Bear. We have a very good agenda. We are going to talk about the World Cup as locations were just announced for the big games in that. We also have a lovely interview with Samer. He's the leader of Dallas Gooner, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Terrific interview, terrific guy. I'm biased. I'm an Arsenal fan. Anyways,
he's a nice bloke.
He is. Even Barry's saying something nice. You know,
soon to get divorced.
Anyways, we're going to get back into your British humor, British slang, if you will, and then we'll end.
We're going to just talk a bit about British humour. We always do the London Cockney Slang.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have to explain to some people that haven't listened to us what it is.
Yeah, this is the first one.
And then finish up with, what are we finishing with? Wanker of the Week?
Wanker of the Week. So, let's dive into the World Cup. Obviously, we know the World Cup is being played across Mexico, United States, and Canada, but it was announced this past Sunday, I believe, the dates and the locations of the big matches. It was rumored. It was so rumored for so long. We had seen, I believe it was either the Sun or the Daily Mail. That was the first one.
It might be the Daily Mail.
Was it the Sun? It was the Sun that reported initially. Initially, it was told to us weeks ago that Dallas, Texas, would be AT&T Stadium would host the World Cup final. Clearly, from the way that we're talking and looking disappointed, that was not what happened.
We're at fault. Okay, we believed a British newspaper.
Yeah, believing the Sun is our fault. They are the worst
in the world. They are. They're not journalists. They just guess it.
They get clicks.
And we believed it, and we thought it was going to be at AT&T Stadium.
But we did get a semi-final. There is a World Cup semi-final at AT&T.
The day after, when you think about it, we got most games.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jerry Jones, that's what he wanted anyway. I mean, he'd rather, God knows, $1 million a game. I don't know.
He'll fill that stadium up immediately, yeah.
Exactly. So, no, and just for the city of Arlington, not Dallas. Arlington, it's a big thing.
They say it's in Dallas, it's in Arlington.
They always say Dallas and Arlington.
Yeah, everyone says Dallas. But the final will actually be played in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. Thoughts on that over Dallas as the final location?
Good thing about it being New Jersey, you can buy tickets through the mafia, so you know where to get them.
but seriously, how do you feel about that in terms of just like big cities in America? Do you think that New Jersey was more deserving than say a Dallas, or are you just one because you were here at the bar and they were doing videos and interviews?
Thing, and they keep saying it, and they say no, it's not. Is the transportation here in Dallas? I don't know how to get on a bus and where it takes you. I've never got on a bus.
You never taken the trains around here?
A bus?
The trains? I take there's a train that runs right by my apartment that goes straight to American
Airlines
Center.
You're lucky. You get on a train, and when you get to the other end, you need to get an Uber or a taxi to get you wherever you need to go. You can't. It's not really built for. This whole city was built for motor cars. It wasn't built for people. And I've never been to New Jersey. New York's a different story. New Jersey, I don't know. Is that?
It's MetLife Stadium, so it's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey.
What's it like for transportation?
I'm not sure about transportation, but the field itself has a bad reputation of causing injuries on the pitch, the grass or the turf, so little concern there. But I do think that the overall picture of this is just a really good thing. I think that it's so commonplace in the United States that people only care about soccer when the World Cup's going on, and I think that this will spin that even more by
after it's been here.
After it's been here, I think that's going to change the entire.
It was last time it was here. When I went to the last World Cup in '94, was it?
Yes.
Is that when it was here? Yeah. It was at the Cotton Bowl, and we were there. And I don't think many Americans realise what they're going to get when you see the fans. And I'm talking the different colours, different whatever. I went to Brazil. Were playing Holland at Cotton Bowl. And I went there, and as I got there, there's this big old transvestite. I mean, I had a Brazilian shirt on, a pair of boobs, as tight as blue shorts you could imagine, a pair of boobs and a set of bollocks. High heels and waving a Brazilian flag. So, be ready, America.
I think it's going to be crazy. I've also, I was fortunate enough.
I've got his phone number.
No comment. I wasn't ready for that. That threw me off. Oh, my God. Anyways, I've been fortunate enough to actually go to the World Cup when it was in Brazil, and I can speak on, I was much younger at the time. I think it was the 2012 World Cup, so I was probably 13, 14 years old. And just the atmosphere is unlike anything else, and I think that people in America getting to experience that for the first time, I think that it will create a soccer boom in this country that we have not seen before. because every year, like I said, you get some interest and you gain more fans for the European
Do you
leagues.
think you'll be able to get tickets for a game? For you, I mean.
I'm trying to work it, to
Yeah.
be completely
Oh,
honest.
okay.
I've already asked my boss about trying to work this.
The last time it was here, it was disgusting sitting at that Cotton Bowl. It
Yeah.
was nearly 100 degrees, and I was watching South Korea against Germany.
Mhm.
And by the 70th minute, the Germans, they were just on the floor. They were dying. I mean,
Yeah.
like nearly 100. So
I think it's gonna
thankfully it's indoors. So
Yeah, it'll be indoors,
Yeah.
closed roof stadium, unless they decide to open the roof so they can manage the temperature and players and everything will be fine. But again, I think the greater impact for this, and circling everything back to like the Londoner almost, is the business that will come in and people will come in for this. But I think that it will show so many people a soccer culture that they haven't seen before, and I think that so many people will fall in love with it, like we have, and our guests have, and
Yeah.
others who listen to our podcast have.
One of the things as well is a lot of the EPL teams have so many different nationality players.
Exactly.
So you could be watching Brazil and you've got 2 or 3 of your players from your team playing. So it gives it a bit of interest more than it would.
Exactly, that's very true too. I love to watch Arsenal players, like you mentioned Brazil. I love to watch Gabriel, and Gabriel all play for us. Our 3 Gabbies all play for Brazil's national team. And you think y'all will hear later. We pre-recorded the interview, but you'll hear it later in the podcast with Samer. He came on and talked about how he fell in love with the game at the World Cup back in 2002, watching France, and that's how he kind of fell in love with Arsenal. With Thierry Henry and
Well, because half of the French team
was
played for
Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal has a very deep connection with France and their players.
You didn't want to throw in Invincibles while we were talking about that?
We can talk about the Invincibles,
Again.
but yeah, my sweatshirt actually is an Invincible sweatshirt. It's the
Really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know you love that. Look at that face, beautiful
Honestly.
smile. Anyways, but the main point for me is I think that the World Cup is going to do a world of good for the world of soccer here in the United States. I think that there's going to be so many more fans. I think that also this year but in that World Cup, the USA has a chance to be competitive, which is not something that we normally say before a World Cup. And so I think that the success of the US team will
At least
also...
you don't have to sweat about getting into the World Cup to begin with.
That's true.
Finally. I'm assuming England's going to be here. You never know.
Yeah, you never. Italy didn't miss Italy won the Euros and then missed the World Cup, right? So you really never know. But it is nice to have a guaranteed bid after some of our lack of qualifying stories in recent times. But I think that it's going to provide a really good opportunity. I love that Dallas is hosting as many games. Arlington is hosting as many games as it is. I'm really stoked. I'm really disappointed in the fact we didn't get the final, but I think the overall...
I think when you look at it, the final's a final. It's one game. It's the end of it. And, of course, you'd like the prestige of having that. But getting all them games here is more important.
I think it's going to be incredible. I think it's going to be so good for the sport in the United States. But
I mean, the only shame with the final is I'm going to have to go New Jersey to watch England.
England. I like that. Is
course
England your 26? Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're in the final.
Yeah, Saka carrying them there, probably.
We're in the final. If we can make it to the World Cup, we're in the final.
There you go. It's that easy, guys. Just make the World Cup and you're basically in the final. Anyways, let's stop talking about soccer here and start looking back across the pond from this past weekend. Where would you like to start with this past weekend of Premier League?
As I said, I was here Sunday for the Liverpool game, and we had people coming down from Addison because they couldn't get in. It was packed. I had a fella rushing here, and he just missed the first goal, by the way, but he got here, and we were packed here. But I didn't get to watch anything. What I did see, I saw that goal, Becker, was it?
Yeah,
Allison and Van Dijk. I saw the mix up there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that goalkeeper, he could have won a gold medal at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with that kick.
Yeah.
He kicked everything but the ball.
Yeah, he took him out, which is rare.
That was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu move.
Yeah, it's rare that you see Allison, a goalkeeper of his caliber. He's widely considered the best goalkeeper in the world. Like, I don't think that is an insane opinion to take.
What about the Villa man that you lot sold?
Emi Martinez?
That you lot sold for about $2 bob.
We sold for $30 million.
That's nothing this day. Gave him away.
I would still take Allison. I think that Allison is a more complete keeper. I don't think that that's a debate.
Martinez, is it?
Yeah, Emi Martinez. I think he's very good. I think that Emi Martinez is a better penalty saver than Allison, but I think that Allison is a better overall keeper, which is why.
And he knows how to display a trophy when he wins one.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We won't get into that.
Yeah, the Emi Martinez. Yeah, I don't want to dive into what he did when he won the World Cup. We'll let our viewers Google that.
Why would you do that when you're in an Arab country?
I don't know. It's just
honestly,
it was just
stupidity.
So it was just clown behavior, to be completely honest, from him. But whatever. Let's talk about that Arsenal-Liverpool game. Obviously, I watched it as well. I thought it was one of the most dominant displays I've ever seen against a Jurgen Klopp team. I thought Arsenal...
And also the Arsenal team, they thought the same, didn't they? The way they celebrated.
Let's get into the celebrations, actually, because there was a lot of uproar about that, and I would love to speak on it just for a second. because I think that it's wrong to challenge that teams are celebrating. After the Arsenal game, there was our captain, Martin Odegaard. He took a picture of our club's photographer. He took the camera from him and told him to celebrate and snap a photo. And some commentators over in England, such as Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, were...
And they're real Liverpool fans, real Arsenal fans.
Carragher obviously played his whole career for Liverpool, so he's probably, after the game, we can give him a little benefit of the doubt that he was in an angry place, like we would most be if we saw our team lose a huge game. And he was a little critical of the Arsenal celebrations, as was Gary Neville, who's also very vocal about anti-Arsenal a lot of the time. He was saying that they looked immature and that...
It's got to be hard. I mean, they played against them at the top level, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously hate Liverpool, in general, I suppose, So even though they're doing a job and they're getting paid and they're meant to be professional, it's a bit hard not to be that way, isn't it?
They've got bias. They have to have bias. I mean, I'm sorry, you don't play for Liverpool for as long as Jamie Carragher did.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, hey, go comment on this game that Liverpool's playing, and I'm sure you won't have any bias. Like,
I think it was wrong to say this. When you win a big game like that and all that goes into it and all the emotion and God knows what else, and you win it.
Why
and
can't
the
you
thing about
celebrate?
Arsenal, they know they're not going to win anything this year, so let's celebrate the game.
Disagree with you on that one. You tried to sneak that in. I'm not going to let it slide. I'm not going to let it slide. You're sitting in 11th.
Remember this conversation. The end of the season.
You do not get to talk shit from 11th right now. You do not get to do that. I get to talk shit with this weekend, and not for y'all.
You win one game. You win one input. It was only Liverpool.
It was only Liverpool.
Only Liverpool.
Okay, well, if it's only Liverpool, then I'd love to see you beat them in the EFL Cup final, the Carabao Cup.
We'll do it. Okay,
all right, we'll come. Yeah, speaking of coming back to this, we'll come back to this.
I'm not
coming back. We'll come back. But I agree. The main point of the Arsenal game I wanted to say was the celebration at the end. And this goes for any team, not just Arsenal.
They deserve the celebration.
Not only do they deserve to celebrate, I would encourage celebrations, and not just for teams or in general, but for just like life. Do not let someone else tell you not to be happy. Do not let someone else tell you how to feel. If you do something incredible like Arsenal did this weekend and beat Liverpool, if you do something in your own life that obviously might not reach that level of global knowledge.
If I played for Arsenal and I scored a goal and won the game against Liverpool,
yeah,
I'd be running around the field naked, waving me dick in the air.
Just be happy. I think that it's so stupid that they were trying to diminish the team's happiness, and I think just in general in life, everyone should be told just be happy. Like when you accomplish something, do not let anyone else take that away from you. Do not let them tell you how you can or can't celebrate. Screw that. Screw whatever Gary Neville said about that. Let the team be happy. And just in life, man, just go be happy. Like, just do not let anyone take that away from you. I think it was a ridiculous motion from the commentators. And I think that, again, you can even translate that into life, and just, you do not need to let someone else
we've got this
dim your shine.
Samer, yeah. We've got Samer coming on talking about Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about Arsenal for about an hour with him,
and
then we condense it down, and we've just spoken about Arsenal for about another 20 minutes.
So we can move on to the other games this weekend.
There's other teams.
I really want to talk about the other game this weekend was Luton versus Newcastle. Okay. I don't want to. We're not going to highlight.
In fact, we're not going to talk about Arsenal for the next month. I've had enough.
All right, cheers.
All right.
Yeah, see you next week. We'll talk about Arsenal again. But we're not going to highlight every game because everyone can go find us. But I do want to talk about Luton Town a little bit. They're out of the relegation zone.
I think you're their lucky mascot because you mentioned them a while ago, and ever since you've mentioned them,
they've been turning up in form. I feel like they're this year's Cinderella story. That every year there's a newly promoted team that can just edge it out a little bit.
Talking of Cinderella, if you ever come to the Londoner here in Dallas, ask for Francis. Okay, he's our Cinderella.
It's true, but back to Luton. The game itself was incredible. I think Newcastle were up 2-0, then Luton made it 3-2, then 4-2 Luton, then Newcastle scored 2 goals later. It was a prime game of Barclays football, but just that never say die attitude. And you look at them again. We mentioned them. I feel like I mentioned them too often.
I mean, obviously it must have been somewhere. Was it a game of mistakes, or was it just like up and down, back and forth?
It was up and down, back and forth. Just two teams having a go, gloves off, bare knuckle boxing. It was great, and I love to see this from Luton. I love to see their fans. I love to see the passion that they're bringing to the Premier League, because it's rare. Like, this is their first time in the Premier League in I don't even know how long, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So
I think they've been in Division 1. They're never the Premier League.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it's so good to see a team come in and make an impact like this. And again, even if it's an impact at the bottom end of the table, they're 1 point clear of Everton, sitting in 17th. Everton are in the relegation zone. And they do have a game in hand, which is against Sheffield United next
Obviously,
week.
When you're down there amongst the bottom three, you want 3 points.
Everything matters.
If you can just do a point.
You think about it, if you told Luton that they would take 4 points off Newcastle this year coming into the year, they would have ripped your arm off, and they did it. So I want to give them a huge credit, and a huge credit to Rob Edwards and what he's doing. Any other game that you want to highlight?
Well, luckily Chelsea didn't play this
Yeah,
weekend.
thank God. Thank God y'all didn't play this weekend. We can.
No, we showed up. We didn't play.
Oh yeah. Well, you can even
we
argue
go.
that you didn't show up.
There
You
we
could
go.
even argue you didn't show up. Yeah, tough one for y'all. Any direction for you, or are you just hoping for the best in the end of the year at this point?
No, because the good thing about Chelsea when they play like that, there's only one word: shit.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
All right. Yeah. Chelsea lost to Wolves 4-1. The other game I wanted to highlight this weekend: Tottenham-Everton, 2-2. Spurs were leading 2-1. Everton scoring at the death. You mentioned it a couple weeks ago that this is the part of the season where Spurs get Spursy.
Yes.
Is this an instance of that? Is this signs of more to come, or do you think that Tottenham under the new manager?
No, they're going to get Spursy. I mean, it's in their blood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're going to get Spursy if they haven't already. They haven't already actually. But their goalkeeper,
Vicario.
I'll keep reading about. All we've got to do now is put a cross or a corner underneath the bar, and he's going to have trouble with it.
Yeah.
And again, didn't it happen?
Yeah, Spurs have actually, when you look at like expected goals conceded or even just goals conceded, they're on the wrong side of that table. So they're
Goalkeeper's
successful.
fault mainly, or
The goalkeeper's been terrific, actually. I think
no, he has, but they keep saying you cross it under the bar, and he's having trouble with the
I think that
crosses.
the defense is not doing a great job in front of him. I think Spurs concede a lot of chances, but again, at a point isn't terrible. Good
He's
as
like Dracula, isn't he? Did he have trouble with crosses, Dracula?
something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah,
that's
made
it.
some garlic in the sock
That's
next
it, yeah,
game. Yeah. Last game I want to talk about is, you got to talk about them, don't we? Is Man United 3-0, but the bigger storyline takeaway from this game. El Butcher,
Yeah, he got injured, didn't he, for
Martinez.
about 8 weeks?
Yeah, it looks like 8 weeks without him. That center back depth at Man United. They're starting Johnny Evans potentially in 2024
He's
at Man
92,
United,
isn't
even though he got relegated last year with
He's
Leicester.
about 92 years of age, isn't he, Evans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an older man. They have Varane. They just look like, but results are turning for them. Do you think even with this injury
Mind you,
crisis,
3-0 is a good result. The West Ham, I mean, evidently West Ham didn't play that good.
West Ham's
Were
been
they that
struggling.
bad? Or
Yeah, West Ham hasn't won a game in this calendar year. They haven't won
okay.
since last
Okay.
calendar year, which they've played. We play them next, so you know what's going to happen with the storyline. Arsenal plays them next.
Oh, yeah,
But,
yeah.
of course.
you're
They
gonna
haven't
lose.
won all year, and then they play Arsenal, right?
Have they played you already, and they beat you?
They
did
beat us at the Emirates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did,
it was,
didn't
we
they?
were in a bad run of form, and they kind of capped that off for us before the Christmas, or right after Christmas break. Other than that, those were the kind of the three I wanted to highlight. Excuse me. I feel like Man United slowly turning a corner. Rasmus Højlund scoring again. Again, I don't think that they are more than a top 4 threat this year. I think that they would be very lucky to keep progressing in the FA Cup and then have a good top 4 finish. I
You
think that's a
think
good
top
season
4?
for them. I think that would be I think they would take that right now.
Of course they would, but top 6 if they're lucky.
Yeah, it is
It
important
won't
to
be top
remember
4.
this year top 5 is Champions League with the new
Oh, is it?
format.
Okay.
Yeah, with the new
All
format.
right.
So maybe
so
they
there's
get
still
in there.
hope for Chelsea.
So,
Yeah, I've just given up.
oh well, I don't know about that actually. Personally, I don't know about your Chelsea hope, but I do like it. But yeah, that's pretty much the week that was. We look at the table. Man United's in 6.
What have we got coming up? Do you know? Big games of any sort this
I
week?
know this week. I know Liverpool play Man City in a little bit. The biggest game this week, there aren't many. Man City play Everton. I think Tottenham Brighton actually is probably one of the better games this week. Man United Aston Villa, if you remember their
Okay, no, that's a good
their
one.
reverse
Yeah.
fixture. Early in the year, Villa went up 2-0. Man
We get all
United
the
came
Villa
back.
fans up there, and there's a few. Thankfully, there's a few Americans amongst them. Because the actual Villas, the Birmingham, I can't understand a fucking
can't
word.
even get it?
Oh my lord, honestly, I
Love
have to
it.
lip read.
All right, guys, now we are into the interview part of our episode. We brought in the leader of the Dallas Gooners today, Samer Ahmed. Samer, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking some time with us. Let's just start where we always start with our interviews, and let's talk about how you got into Arsenal.
Thanks, Ben. First of all, thanks, Ben, Barry, for putting this together, having me on here. Just did want to make a quick clarification. I do run the Instagram page and some of the Facebook stuff for the Dallas Gooner Society. Not the leader. I do want to make that clarification. Renee's been running that
You
for a
could get
very
in the
long
team.
time.
They don't have a leader either.
You're very humble, very humble.
But I do want to make that clarification. To answer your question, I started watching football when I was 11, 12 years old. It was right on the eve of the 2002 World Cup. And when you're 11, 12, there's a World Cup around the corner. You and your friends, you get excited. So we started watching the Premier League. Prior to that, I'd been watching international tournaments. That's when France were at their at their peak. They had Henry, Vieira, Pires, and as I'm starting to watch the Premier League, I recognized Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, Patrick Vieira. And before you know it, I was an Arsenal fan. My first 3 years as a fan, we won 2 league titles, and I thought, oh, this shit is easy. We're just going to kill it.
Yeah.
20 years later, here we are.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
no new titles in that time period yet.
And none to come.
Oh, thank you, Barry. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
Barry, what's 11th place like this time of year? By the way,
The what?
11th place. What's it like this time of
Well,
year?
we just want to go down and see what it's like. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll just have a chat to a few people, and then let's just have a little relax.
You've been
And
having
then
a chat with people
next
down
year's
around there
gonna
for a couple of years now.
Next year's going to be similar.
Hold on.
Okay? After that, you lot had it as well.
Hold on. There's a second half of the table?
I mean, apparently Chelsea know about it. We don't.
This is news to me.
Yeah, we haven't been down there. We can't even.
Hey,
joke.
I'm off form this morning. I can't even think of an answer, but I'll get there. Yeah.
We'll get there.
I haven't had my coffee.
Anyway, so Arsenal obviously being your team, we've got the Arsenal backdrop just for you today. Barry's pissed off about it. But let's talk about Arsenal this season, more specifically this past weekend. Huge win for Arsenal against Liverpool. How do you feel about the team, where they are, and just kind of the way Arsenal is right now this season?
I feel fantastic. This is by far the strongest team that we've had in the Emirates Stadium era. I think we can confidently say it is our best team since the Invincibles. With regards to the depth, I think that
You're not allowed to say invincibles here. We banned that word.
I'm sorry, Barry.
Okay, so we banned it.
So as I was saying, the Invincibles. This is probably our best team since the Invincibles. What this team showed me was it. A lot of the time, we always talked about our starting 11 so great, but Arsenal, they lack depth, they lack defensive resilience, and those are some of the things that we saw some great examples of. We've missed midfielders throughout the entire season. Jurriën Timber, we lost him on day one. We had Jakub Kiwior come in as a second half sub. We had Jorginho, who a lot of fans had written off because of his affiliations with other teams, inferior teams that he used to play with in
Proper
the past.
teams.
It's crazy.
I wouldn't know about that.
Chelsea spent $300 million to buy a midfield that's worse than Jorginho.
And you know what? I am here all day for that.
I'm
man.
here for that.
I thought your Bob wanted him out, but evidently he had a good game Sunday. I didn't watch the game.
Oh, he was man of the
brilliant.
match.
He was given the man of the match award. He ran the show. His
Was
calmness.
he from the start?
He started the
We
game.
got
Played
so
90
busy
minutes.
here, and I was meant to have 3 wait staff. I had 1 show up, so I'm running around
jeez.
like a blue-ass fly.
Yeah.
Didn't get to see shit.
No, you missed a world class performance from him. But I agree. I think Jorginho was brilliant. I think defensively, Arsenal might be the best team in England. I think we might.
Ben, typically I would say, oh, you're just saying that because you're a gooner like me, but when you look at the stats,
Fuck me,
Arsenal...
why don't you 2 get married?
My wife would have a couple of things to say about
Yeah.
that. But baby, I love you. I just met Ben. It's
We're
nothing
not like
serious.
that. We don't. Yeah.
But when you look at the stats, Arsenal's expected goals against is 17, and that's by far the best in the league. We've conceded a joint 22 goals, I think, and that's, again, the best in the league. So for you to say Arsenal might be the best defensive team in the league, Ben, there are stats to prove that. There are stats to back that up. We've been missing Jurriën Timber, one of our starting defenders, from day one,
yeah.
and yet we are in this position. So for you to say that, I don't think that's
it's
outrageous
crazy
at all.
I think that our biggest problems lie in attack. But anyways, I do want to move off because we're going to give Barry here an aneurysm if we keep talking about how much we love Arsenal this year. I want to talk about you and the Dallas Gooners. Can you talk a little bit more about what the Dallas Gooners are, what you guys try to do, what the goal of the group is, really?
Absolutely. So Dallas Gooner Society, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Dallas Gooner Society. That is our that's our
and it's
handle.
on a couple of gay sites as well.
So what we're just here for is we're a group for Arsenal fans here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. For a group to come together. I'll just give you my own example. I've lived in Dallas for about 15 years now. After I graduated college, I moved a little bit further up north to Addison, and I was looking for a place to watch the North London Derby the day before we signed Ozil, the one where we beat Tottenham 1-0.
Yeah.
And I was relatively new to the area. I didn't know, so I just went on Facebook, started looking, and I found out about the Londoner. And I went to the Londoner and had an incredible time. Arsenal won 1-0. And 10 years later, I find myself going back to the Londoner every single weekend because it's just such a wonderful place to watch football. I'll speak a little bit more about that. But what the Dallas Gooner Society really is, Ben, is it's a place for Arsenal fans from the Metroplex to come together, meet other Gooners, we like to provide a sense of community. We've recently started putting together a couple of soccer games, or we're playing a tournament with a group in Richardson. So a place for Gooners to get together, meet with other Gooners, build a community, network a little bit, and hang out maybe a little bit outside and play a little bit of football ourselves.
We had there's a trophy behind the bar. It's called the Londoner Cup.
You do,
Are they
yeah.
playing for that? Because we did that, and we had all the fans have a team, and there was Soccer Spectrum, which is closed down. But
Yep.
I'd love to do it at the other one. Just have the fans from the various clubs, and we get all the clubs here, as you know.
Yep,
It's not
we
just
do.
Arsenal there.
We do.
How do you feel about that with the other fans?
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because we're playing a tournament in March, actually in the new Soccer Spectrum, I guess, where we will be
Have
playing
they
against.
opened again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Where
that.
we'll be playing against some of them. 2 weekends ago, we played against the Bayern Munich supporters, and we've got a tournament in late March. I'll confirm the date in late March, where we will play 3 or 4 games, kind of like a Champions League style. Champions League is
Isn't that
fantastic.
great? You go there. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is. I mean, it's, you want to, when we had the tournament, and it was all the fans. Liverpool won it, by the way, because they put in some ringers.
It's nice for them to win something.
Yeah, no, they won it, but it's good, and you get there, and it was like a knockout. We had about 10 different teams. Really
No, I
good.
love that. I'm going to follow up with you after that, because I'm
Yeah.
looking to play, honestly. So I'd love to follow up with you and learn
Absolutely.
about
Can you
that.
play left back?
Oh, I mean, it's
It's-
not my prime position, personally.
we'll-
but-
I'll tell you
talk
what. I
about
bet
that.
you never get to use the word invincibles. You two wankers playing.
You can't. I look like a prime Zinchenko out there. No problem at all. No problem at all.
No, that's good. But anyway, carry on about your Gooners.
Yeah, but we're there at the Londoner every match day, even if it's a midweek Carabao Cup match. We will be there, obviously,
You're
for
out
the
there.
Premier.
Wouldn't worry about that one.
I mean, it's
Sorry, Barry.
we're
We'll watch our Champions League matches if
All
you
right.
want to tune into
we
those.
will
you
watch
know.
our Champions League matches and the game against. We're there for every Premier League game, and want to thank you for this a little bit. If there's a Premier League match at 6:00 in the morning, this guy, he opens up for us, so we appreciate that very much. But anytime there's an Arsenal match, Premier League, Champions League, Carabao Cup, whatever that's called, I don't really pay much attention to that. There will be Dallas.
Harry Kane would die to win the Carabao Cup.
He would. I can't.
No.
I love
He'd
that.
die to win the team cup.
Way to throw in
He'd
some
die to win the
Spurs
team
flair
cup.
right there.
That was beautiful.
Didn't he once like swear on his daughter that he like
Scored a goal. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Took it away from Ericsson.
He's been brilliant in Bayern, so I don't want to slander him too much now that he's not with Tottenham, but I like that. I like that you threw a little Spurs slander in there,
Can't
Barry.
even win anything with Bayern. They're not even
Oh
top
my
of the league
god!
anymore.
The funniest thing that would happen would be Harry Kane.
The
would be
curse
if
is
Harry
real.
Kane went to Germany. Bayern have won what 8, 10 leagues,
10
in,
in a
10
row.
leagues in a row.
11,
If-
sorry.
11. If they if they lose to Xavi Alonso and more importantly Granit Xhaka,
See, only
oh my
Arsenal
God.
fans would feel that way. Because I'd actually like the fella to win something.
Yeah,
only
no,
Arsenal
couldn't-
fans. I mean,
couldn't be me.
that's
Unless it's,
You-
I'd rather him win it for England, where he can win it alongside other Arsenal players.
I was about
but
to
I have
say,
no reason to root for Bayern Munich personally.
Euro 2024 is around the corner. England have a fantastic squad. Questions about
We've
the
had them
manager?
before.
Yeah, it's been a great squad. You talked about the Londoner and Barry, and I want to just to be clear, so everyone knows, we don't tell him to say these things. Like we don't. I'm not sitting there, like knife to the back, like, hey, promote the Londoner. This is just a real fan. So anyone that's listening or watching, whether it be from the Dallas Gooners group or any other, or you're just a Premier League supporter, if you're looking for a sense of community, these are real stories. So again, I just want to let you know, like, we don't promote this. These are just true stories. So come join and be a part of this.
One thing I'd like to say for anybody listening, when we have a big game at the London, we can get 100, 200 people.
Easy, yep.
They all turn up within an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I know the service isn't great. You're not there for the service. Believe you me, I want to get as much money as I can and serve as many people as I can. But honestly, I had one wait person here, poor cow. She was running her tits off. But we got there in the end. But people just want people to understand, even when we're fully staffed, when you get 150, 200 people all show up at once, it's we handle it actually
Yeah.
quite good considering.
And I think. Sorry, go ahead, Barry.
No, go on.
I was about to say a great example was in fact the Liverpool game earlier or this
last
weekend,
Sunday, yeah.
where I showed up about half an hour before kickoff, and there were Arsenal fans who were outside the pub because the pub had reached capacity. We couldn't let any more people in.
I had some people come down here. They couldn't get in.
So if
crazy.
you're a football fan in the Dallas Metroplex, if you're an Arsenal fan, we prefer it that way. But if you're a football fan, I mean, just come on over. We had over 100 Gooners at the pub for the Liverpool match. So if
How
you
many
wanna
have you
watch
got on your particular club? Do you know how many you got?
So in our Facebook group, which we have about 1,300 members, which is a closed group. That's Dallas Gooner Society. You can find it on Facebook. It'll answer a couple of questions, and any events that we do, we will post about that on Facebook. Instagram, we have about I would say about 1,200 followers, and again,
You're catching up with us on
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Well, we got 3.
yeah.
We're getting there. We're close there.
Well, you got 4 now.
There you go.
Yeah, you got 4
There we
now.
go.
But Instagram, we've got about 1,200 followers, and I run that Instagram page. So if I talk a little bit of shit about other teams, it's nothing personal.
No,
Barry.
I don't want to. No, you've got to. Honestly, I mean, we can all play, we can all kick a ball, but it's talking of shit. Oh, it's cheaper to go to a therapist. It's you get it all out of your system. I'm telling you. I went a few months ago, and
Yeah.
I used to know a lot of people that go to the pub because I'm between 3 pubs. I actually lost touch with a lot of them because I don't know a lot of them. And I got up on the steps, the TV you all watch.
Yep.
I got up on the steps and I said, "Oi, Arsenal!" They all looked at me and I went, "Hey!" I gave it all that, and I'm looking down. And I thought, "Fuck, I don't even know anything. They don't even know who I am."
It doesn't matter.
No, they didn't know who I was. I mean, not that it means anything, but no, fuck.
But that's the thing. You don't need to know them. They don't need to know you personally to talk that shit. Like, you just got to see a jersey, a logo, and you can. That's the beauty of the sport. Yeah. You're engaged. You're ready to
You
go.
have to be careful if you don't know them all. I mean, seriously.
You don't want to be ridiculously disrespectful, but
No,
you
I
can
do.
engage in some
No,
fun
I can be
banter.
ridiculous. They got to be understanding.
Well, the whole point of it is that you can just engage in banter without knowing it, and that's the beauty of the sport. And that's, like you said, 1,300 people.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Did one of you fart?
Couldn't be me, no.
Hang on a minute. Oh no, I got that stench. It's Arsenal. Sorry, I recognised it.
Yeah, that smells like winning. Actually, you wouldn't know it. No shot there. No
See, if you were quick, you'd have said, "Hey, it's Chelsea that stink," but you're not quick enough.
Well, I said that you're probably.
No, different.
We'll let you have that one. We'll let you
Alright.
have that one. Considering Chelsea needs something after this weekend. Good God.
You enjoying this?
I'm loving it.
I'm
having a great
this
time.
This is normal for us. This is completely normal.
This is like going to the pub on a weekday.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it's all about just banter between friends and stuff. And
You do, because you'll get. I mean, even if it's just Arsenal playing against, I said just Arsenal. Even if it's Arsenal playing against whoever, Crystal Palace, you'll still get a lot of people there that aren't Arsenal. They just want to see a game.
Yeah.
Shaggy's always there anyway.
Yeah. And even if it's, as you say, no disrespect, only Crystal Palace, even for a game like that, we'll still have 30 or 40 Gooners come out. For a North London derby, a Chelsea, Man U, we could easily have 150, 200 Gooners come out.
When's the next Tottenham game? When your game against them?
We-
I'm sure it's
27th, April 28th, that week.
Is it
Yeah,
really that late?
it's late in the season
Yeah.
because.
Ooh, is it going to mean anything to both
That's
of
the
you
thing.
by then?
That's the thing. We don't know. The Spurs obviously are still right in the mix for
Is it at their
those top
place?
4 places. It is. Yeah, we played at the Emirates already this season. So we play. I know we play Spurs very late, and we play Man United very late. I think they're our last road game.
Match week 37,
Yeah,
you're
literally.
right.
Oh, if things go well, could you imagine?
I mean, honestly, I'm not too worried about mid-table teams at this point. I think we handle ourselves very well against the mid-table teams. It's the Man Cities, Liverpools, those ones that.
See,
that
I would actually-
what about the bottom teams? 'Cause
I was
they're the ones
actually.
at that time of the
I
year.
was actually going to argue the opposite.
Yeah.
We are unbeaten. Actually, Arsenal this season have the best record against the Big Six, and when we've dropped
Yeah.
points this year, it's come against those mid-table teams.
Yeah.
And
but
amongst some others, Aston Villa obviously beat us as well. They're near the top, but
other mid-table teams, not mid-table teams like Man U, but late in that season when we have games against the smaller teams who are fighting against relegation, they're genuinely fighting for their lives. They're fighting for jobs for the people at the clubs. That's when it gets really
But
hairy.
then it really makes it a game. I mean,
It
they're
does.
fighting for their
I
life.
think that's
Absolutely
what
does.
makes the sport so great is that there isn't any weeks off. Like, I know at the end of the season, at some point, right, teams will know their fate. They'll know if they're relegated. They'll know if they're mid-table. They'll know if they're playing in Europe. But that really doesn't come until, like, the very end. So all these games right beforehand, and even now, like we talked about it earlier on the podcast, but Luton versus Newcastle, that game, it's so important that these teams pick up points anywhere they can, because when you get down to it, that relegation race is so important that any team can beat anybody at any point.
Are you going to be happy coming second or third? Because you will.
That's a great
It's
question.
Europe, though. I mean,
that's
it's
a, no,
Champions
that's a
League.
great question. I would be okay with coming second or third, but I wouldn't be happy.
See,
I wouldn't be happy.
See,
I wouldn't
Chelsea
be happy.
fans don't talk that. See, obviously you accept losing. You accept coming second or third. We don't.
You're right. You accept coming
We've got
10th
no
or
choice.
11th.
We've got no choice
You
at the
accept
moment.
coming
No.
10th or
See,
11th.
you need that winning mentality. You haven't got it.
You should try getting it yourself sometime. Maybe you wouldn't. Look
Oh,
forward,
one
yeah.
season, you prick.
One season. Where'd you finish last year?
I can't remember. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
2 or 3. I'll be
yeah,
right. I don't know.
yeah,
Anyway,
whatever.
go on.
Yeah, I won that one. See, I told
You
you.
did.
Oh.
If he wins some, I win some.
Our sound man here, Larry. So I've
Yeah.
got 3 Arsenal fans against 1.
Yeah.
Right, I'm ready.
Well, last week I had 2 Chelsea fans against me.
Yeah, but he was really polite.
and he's
was,
not.
wasn't he?
And our guest now is. And I'm
He's
not.
getting there. No, he's just finding his feet. He'll get there.
Oh my days! All right, well let's wrap this up. We talked about Dallas Gooners, what they are, and then the community that you make.
Did they when you become the official club of are you the official club of the Arsenal?
Like the official support group.
And do you have a fee for people to join, or they can just join? Or?
No, there's no fee. We, as I mentioned before, what we really want out of this is a sense of community. If you're a Gooner and Arsenal fan, even if you're just visiting Dallas for a couple of days, and we've had people like that who'll message us, hey, I'm dropping by Dallas, I'm from New York, or we had a fan come in from Hungary a couple of years ago, just dropping by, they message us like, yeah, here's...
I bet he left Hungary as well with the service.
So just, if you're looking to watch Arsenal games, or just if you're a regular in Dallas and you want to be part of that community, come join us, make some new friends, and have a great time.
I mean, we keep saying this week after week when we have different people on with different supporters, but honestly it really is something else, and it's not just the football. You get there, you have a chat, you get to meet faces once a week, people you don't even know, and other than the soccer you probably wouldn't have anything in common.
No.
I mean, I've got nothing in common with that dick. But with the soccer you do.
You do, and like a game can end at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, even the Liverpool game, and I keep citing the Liverpool game because it was the most recent match.
Yeah.
But many of us stayed back after the game for another hour and a half, just chatting with other people, getting to know each other, just, again, fostering that sense of community.
It's a social thing as well,
It
isn't it?
really absolutely is a social thing. It is, like you said, this is my therapy. This is where I go to let go of my worries.
And get away from the wife. Come on. She's not going to listen to this.
No. She's beautiful. Very, very lucky.
How long have you been married?
2.5 years.
It shows.
Oh, love that. Yeah. So
we'll invite you back in 5 years.
Barry the funny thing here for me is the dynamic is Barry doesn't think your wife is going to listen. You're very concerned that she's going to, because Barry will say something. You're like, no, honey, no, don't listen to him. You're beautiful and I love you. It's hilarious. I love it.
Who did he talk about before he spoke about his wife today?
Arsenal?
No, before even then. His 2 dogs.
That's true.
Says it all.
I mean,
You're in trouble.
I mean, to be fair, I think one of y'all asked me about the dogs.
Yeah, we were having an animal conversation, but let's wrap up here. Samir, thank you again for your time coming on.
Absolutely.
And again, everyone, if you want to get involved with Dallas Gooners, go check them out. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on social media.
They're a good group.
And they are a good group, and then come hang out with them. Or if you are just a football fan in the area, and you want to become a soccer fan in the area, football fan in the area, and you're looking for a team.
Also, without promoting the pubs, obviously you meet in Addison, most of but there's here in Dallas, we've got it there in Collierville. You don't have to drive that far if you don't want to.
No,
like Larry lives up in Collierville area.
No.
He goes there.
There's tons of locations, but Samir, thank you again for your time here and just talking to us. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I love chatting about
And we'll have you back.
I'm looking forward to it.
As long as you promise here and now never to mention that word, invincible.
Barry, here's the thing, and my wife will tell you this. I'm not very good with promises, man.
You're not?
I'm not very good with promises, but I will love to come back.
Barry, here's the thing. I'll end with this. When anyone else does it, we'll stop talking
Has
about
anybody
it.
done it? I don't know that. Is it
In England, no.
You mean what? Not just the EPL or
No, Premier League. No team has ever
the
won
First
the
Division?
entire.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've got to tell you this. So when Liverpool won the EPL,
Yeah.
someone bought these balloons and it said 19. Okay, big old balloons. They had them in Collierville, and they've done it.
Yeah.
They've become first 19 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up there. I said, "Hey, just to let you know," and I stuck a knife after they finished with it in the 9.
Yeah,
I said, "You've
that's
won it
your one.
once. You've won it once."
I love that.
Yeah. Oh no, they weren't happy.
We will wrap the interview there, Samer. Thank you again for your time. We will definitely have you
Yeah,
back
we'll have
on.
you back.
Hopefully later in the season, we'll check back in on our. Actually, let's wrap this. Sorry, one more thing. Wrap this. Top 4 prediction. Give me your top 4 for the rest of the year.
In any specific order?
No, in order. 1, 2,
In
3,
order?
4. I want to
Okay.
hear the top 4.
Fourth, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's going to be that other the small
I
little
know
team
you're
down the
talking
road
about,
at North London.
We don't have to talk about their name.
Third, I'm gonna go ahead and say Liverpool are gonna come in third. And
Barry's waiting.
He can't say it.
Barry's waiting.
And
No, don't get yourself in trouble. Put your mob at the top.
Come on.
I'm gonna. This is football. We do this because we follow our hearts. Second, Man City. Top, I'm gonna go with
There
Arsenal.
you go.
Love
There you
that.
go.
I love that. Come
We had to
on,
beg
you
him.
guys.
We had to beg him.
No, we're just us Arsenal fans are very conservative with our success. We've seen a lot, so we know it can change a lot. But again, Samir,
What are you? I mean, I know. I'm not being funny. Are you second at the moment?
Yes. Yes,
or Man City goes second.
We're
third
tied.
on
We're
goal
tied on
difference.
points with Man City, but they have a game in hand on us.
There we go.
So they could essentially, if they win their game in hand, they'll jump us and Liverpool. So the top 3 right now it's there. But that'll be it for our interview, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and I cannot wait to have you on the podcast again, brother.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Samer for being here today and spending his time with us and just chatting with us. I thought he was a brilliant guest. Obviously, I'm biased, but I thought it was a great time with him.
No, he was good. He's a nice bloke. And all you Gooner fans, okay, if you thought that Liverpool game was a tough one, okay, you wait till you get Chelsea.
Yeah, and also for all you Gooner fans, make sure to go join the Dallas group that he's a part of on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll drop links and everything to make sure you can see that. But Barry, that will do it for our interview part of the thing. We will now move on to our regular scheduled agenda. Let's get into your
One of the things I want to talk. If you haven't listened to our podcast, I was born over here, moved to London when I was 5, worked in the streets in London in a market for years. I'm so glad for one of the reasons I moved to London, England, was for the British sense of humour. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's better than the American sense of humour, but it's so dry, it's so sarcastic, it's so. I just love it. I mean, I just piss around all the time anyway, but the sense of humour. I'm so glad I moved over to get that sense of humour. Even, I'll tell you the story. So when I think I was 27, I was playing in a team I played for, and one of the fellas in the market, it was the first game of the season, and I bet him £10 I'd score 10 goals that season. I used to play midfield. So the very first game of the season, a minute to go in the game, and I get this fella. I remember seeing the fella's studs. Anyway, he broke my leg, tibula fibula. Jeez. I'm laying there, and the leg's just flopping around like that. I'm laying there in agony. And the fella I had a bet with was watching the game.
Yeah.
He walked onto the pitch while I'm laying there with a broken leg and said, "Here, you want to give me that £10 now?" I mean, I had to smile. I was in agony. He cashed the bet.
Cashed the bet first
that's
game
the
of the
humour
season.
I love. Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Let me tell you one thing. In times of life, good and bad, when things are bad, bring the humour out. Don't sit there and cry about it. Just make a joke about it, and if you can, move on. That's it.
That's brilliant. I love that.
I did that with Chelsea last week. I made a joke, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving."
You might have to do that a couple more times this year, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm ready.
Anyways,
one of the things I was reading, they said in Liverpool over the past week or so, last 2 weeks, a lot of the doctors are having a lot of people coming in, and there's a lot of people coming in depressed. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know if it was because the Klopp was leaving, if that's the reason, or because they live in Liverpool. They're trying to work out what it is, and they haven't quite got there yet. But we'll keep an eye on that.
I feel like we could test that by looking at the Everton fans that live around there too, but they also might be a little bit sad.
Yeah, they might. Yeah. It's just a miserable town.
With the way
I wouldn't even go there.
With the way it's going. All right, let's get back into though that British slang, that Cockney rhyme that you did.
Yeah, you called me out last week.
I called you out, but you said you had more.
Well, no, I can do anything. I mean, it's another language, and as I said, it's so clever. Again, the only association a word has with the word you're trying to say in Cockney Rhyming Slang is that it rhymes. Mm-hmm. And you don't just make them up, everybody knows it. And now and again they change. Like years ago, I used to say boat race is slang for base. Mm-hmm. I haven't been back home for 30 years, but I heard on something, they said, "Hey, have a look at a Chevy Chase face." It's changed. So it used to be boat. You say, "Have a look at a boat," you look at a face. Now it's Chevy. It might be something else. But over the years, the younger kids change it sometimes. One of the ones, I'll give you 2 this week. So if a mate of mine came in all dressed up, I said, "Oh, like the whistle. Oh, the Daisy Roots go well. I like the whistle and flute suit."
Okay.
And the Daisy Roots go well with it, boots. Daisy Roots boots.
Daisy Roots boots and whistle suit.
Whistle and flute suit.
This is like a whole different
it is,
dictionary.
But you can talk. That's honestly, they say, "Oh, I like the whistle, I love the Daisy." He said, "Well, you've been to court or you get married." That's whenever you wear a suit, it's either you've been to court or you get married.
That's it. Only options. No, I love that. I need to start using some of this stuff and just confuse people. But
you can do, yeah.
I love it. No, it's like its own dictionary, but... So we've done our Premier League coverage. We've done our Cockney slang. Let's wrap up with what the people missed last week, the Wanker of the Week.
Wanker of the Week.
Wanker of the Week. Would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first?
Well, I was going to go with Chelsea, the whole Chelsea team. Mm-hmm. But no, you can go first because it's not far off.
I was going to go with Todd Bowley because I read rumors, and again, grain of salt, I don't know how true this is, that they were looking to sack Pochettino because I saw a comparison, actually. And you can even...
He's the same as Potter, isn't he?
He is. They did a comparison. They've played the same amount of games. They've conceded more goals, and they have a worse goal difference by 1. So, and they had, I think, the exact same, maybe it's 1 or 2 points difference. It's basically the identical stats from Potter to Pochettino under their same amount of time in the club. So I'm going to give it to Todd Bowley, not only for that, but for building what he's built, and I've seen rumors that they were even looking to sack Pochettino, as Chelsea do with their managers so frequently, and they can't because the $10 million they would have to pay him might tip them over financial fair play. So he has literally backed himself into a corner where he really can't change anything till the summer. He's got these players on contracts until the 2030s. I'm giving it to Chelsea as well.
Maybe they can't fire him. And maybe you've got to give people time. I
Of
know
course.
I keep saying that. Having said that, with the money they spent, you could all make excuses.
Mm-hmm.
This season, it's finished, gone out the window. Okay, I would like to finish a little bit higher up.
You still have a trophy. You can still win a trophy, to be clear. You'll have the Carabao Cup final, like Chelsea.
Yeah, and again, it's only Liverpool.
I think it's massive. I think that's such a massive game for your club, in complete honesty.
It is, but you never know.
So are we both basically choosing Todd Bowley and Chelsea as our wanker of the week?
It's Todd Bowley. The only thing I'll say about Pochettino is we should have thought about it. The man made his name at Tottenham. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Were Tottenham Spursy before he got there, or was did he start the Spursy era?
Well,
and
it's
now
crazy.
he's brought it to Stamford Bridge.
They were Spursy. Their last trophy came in 2011.
Has he brought it to Stamford Bridge?
I don't think... Well, the thing is, we can go way back. I never agreed with y'all firing Tuchel, like, way back when. I don't think that he's brought anything with him to Stamford Bridge. I think he's continued what Bowley started to build.
No, I've got that. But it's, as I said, he's going to have to give it another year anyway. Hopefully.
If he gets the time. If he gets the time. I don't know. Bowley's
I don't mind. Look, no matter who they bring, because they're all talking about the same. They're throwing in the same managers that they're saying they're going to go to Liverpool. So, yeah, you never know.
Wanker of the week. Both of us choosing
Todd
Chelsea.
Bowley.
Todd Bowley.
Yep.
Todd Bowley. He set up a terrible Chelsea. That's our wanker of the week.
Me and the Septic say thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You're going to have to sign off as the Septic sometime.
I know, but I'm going to let you do it. I like when you do
Okay,
it.
all right.
I like when you get to do the sign off. All right. You want to sign off again?
Love you.
Bye, guys.